I hope you guys don't hate my voice too much because today I'm going to be talking a bit more than I usually do. I'm very antisocial, so I'll try my best because I find that some of this is pretty interesting. My first ever account was Belanke. I only really played Bed Wars and my stats were terrible. But in 2018, I ended up buying a semi-full access account for my friend to play on, but he never ended up using it. I thought it was a pretty cool name, so I started using it instead. The IGN was Dantia, and I loved it so much that I even turned it into my OSU username back when that was what I used to main. I continued playing Bed Wars, got a lot better. I grinded about 110 stars before Bridge came out, and I loved that game a little bit too much, as some of you might be able to tell. Back then it was so much fun, since there weren't many strategies that exist today like hippoing, pristining, and winging, so the community wasn't already filled with unbeatable gods who've already mastered every possible strategy. Now, I don't know if you guys know how alts work, but the gist of it is, it wasn't my account. It originally belonged to somebody else, and it was only after I grinded about 2,500 wins that the original owner decided to change the password and lock me out of the account forever. With only my forums account left as proof that it had ever been mine, I turned to the same alt shop to purchase myself a much more secure account. I think it was about $12 I'd spent on an unmigrated account that I could migrate to my own email. This was as secure as it gets other than purchasing it from Minecraft.net, and I came up with the name Zeerk and started grinding Bridge at a very unhealthy rate. The game was already in duels by this time, and I remember always being #1 monthly for quite a few months in a row, eventually throwing me really high up on the lifetime leaderboards. I grinded all the way to godlike by the end of that year, and when my 2019 came out, I realized how much time I actually spent playing Bridge. I tried to quit, but that didn't really stop me for long, and I kept playing while smoking way too much weed, and eventually got upset at myself. I made a very stupid decision to slash duel my friend Kunet, and flew on him with a hacked client, which got me banned for an entire year, forcing me to quit. The end, right? But wait, I have a very addictive personality, and I remembered that my brother still had a Minecraft account, which he didn't use for I think it was 2 or 3 years. So I grinded on a new account and eventually ended up getting a 730 win streak. Yeah, I know, I have a problem, especially since I grinded all the way to Grandmaster 2. But I did eventually get bored. I was trying to grind to godlike, but it was way too far. And by this time Skyblock had come out. And it's funny, I was actually always making fun of people who were playing Skyblock, because I was really only interested in PvP and not some passive farming simulator. But I did eventually end up placing down minions and collecting resources every once in a while, upgrading them, but I never really played the game. That is until my friend invited me to a co-op, and that was really the end for me. I turned into one of those stereotypical Skyblock sweats with the Zombie Slayer 8, a recombobulated superior set, overflux, and way more coins than I knew what to do with. So what did Zeerk do? Where did I go wrong? I actually went to IRL traders to find somebody who would buy coins from me. Since Dungeons came out and I didn't really like it, I was only collecting minions and had a lot of coins. Back then they were worth about 80 cents per million, and I thought I could get some money out of my profile. It was there that I was introduced to people who used sugarcane scripts on multiple accounts to restock their coins for their Discord shop. I personally thought this was a great idea, so I decided to start doing it myself and bought 32 gigs of RAM and 10 unmigrated full access accounts to start building sugarcane farms. Each account had a 2-layer farm, but I only ever ran 8 at a time. I don't really remember why. I would make around 200 million coins per day, and I'm not going to disclose how much money I made selling the coins, but it was enough for me to keep doing it. A farming update had come out with some upgraded hoes so that I could farm sugarcane at a much faster rate, except I was way too lazy to grind for the hoe on each of the accounts. So what did stupid stoner Zeerk do? I got all of the hoes on my main accounts and I dropped them to all of my alts. Did you guys know that the server logs item drops and who picks them up? Because I didn't. But for another week my accounts were still running, undetected. The hoes made it so that I had way more coins than I was able to sell, and I started actually giving them away to people for fun. I was helping out my only friend at the time by letting him live with me due to the bad living situations that he was in. My father and I were helping him get back on his feet and get a job, but he also played Skyblock a lot more than I did. His main gotten banned for profile boosting, so I gave him an alt to play on for while he was banned. I even offered to give him coins, seeing as how I had so much, but he declined, saying how he wants to work for them himself and doesn't need any of my help. What my friend didn't know was that I live streamed all of my bots to my private YouTube channel so that I could monitor if they got stuck or not while I was at work. One night while I was working, I saw one of my bots stop, while my roommate collected all of my shit and gave it to the alt that I gave him. Haha. Sadly for him, I had the account info still, so I gave it to a friend of mine I made back in KCALs who agreed to help me by changing the password and banning him. It was way more funny than it should have been since my roommate didn't know I knew. He must have felt hardcore karma. He doesn't live with me anymore, but I still don't see why he didn't just ask me for coins since I literally offered them to him. Either way, it doesn't really matter, cause remember how I dropped those upgraded hoes to my alts? I came back home from work one day and all of my bots had been banned. I logged into my main, banned for skyblock boosting, and my endgame profile wiped. Although my spot on lifetime 1v1 win streak is still up there, so I guess I'm happy, but sadly a friend of mine got banned since I gave away way too much shit. Sorry by the way. I guess in a way I did deserve it, but I was way too addicted to bridge to let it get out of my grasp that quickly, so I resumed my bridge grinding on a new account and mostly played scrims since I wasn't really in the mood to grind to godlike again, but I did end up getting a 588 win streak which was sniped by a fly hacker. But imagine if I got on win streak leaderboards, that would have been like 3 separate accounts on LB, and I'm sure a lot of people would have been quite pissed at me to be honest. Anyways, now my godlike account has been unbanned, so you guys could expect to see me grinding my way back to solo wins leaderboard since I'm only about 1k wins away now. I really wanted to thank you guys so much for everything. I'm almost at 500 subscribers and I never thought I'd really get this far. I'm trying to stream more often and maybe soon I'll develop a schedule at some point. In the meantime, sorry if you guys missed the stream since I don't really have any way to announce them at the moment. I really hope you guys learned a bit more about me and that this clears up a bit of the mystery revolving around me, but I'm still not explaining my hotbar. Haha!